Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into a Friday build live stream. We today are going to go over Bill. I'm going to give you guys updates on what has been happening, what I've been building and creating for Agent Bill in order to make him the most advanced AI agent in the entire world. First, of course, we're going to conquer decentralized science, and we're going to make him a very powerful tool for anyone who is even remotely interested in decentralized science. Today, I'm going to go over a couple tools and outputs that Bill is capable of doing right now. And then I'm going to explain and answer any questions you guys have, give you guys an update on what I have been doing when it comes to Bill. Seeing as how the token is down so much, I think you guys deserve that update. And, of course, we are going to get into creating our own tools for Bill to use. Yes, this is a collaborative live stream. So without further ado, why don't we go right into a demo that I have prepared for everyone here so that you guys can see what exactly Bill is capable of. Now, this is just one of his tools that he has right now, and it is a good tool. It's been something that was initially pretty difficult to create. However, I finally got it. I literally woke up, or didn't even wake up. It was like 2 a.m. I wasn't able to sleep. I was like, wait a minute. I figured it out. I could build it like this. I got up immediately and started creating it. So let's go ahead and do a quick little search. What is the price of research coin? We'll go ahead and give our test agent Bill here a simple prompt, a simple question that some of you guys would probably have created on your own. Remember, Bill is designed to be an agent in a chat on Telegram with us, and so he should be able to do this kind of activity pretty easily. He's a little bit groggy this morning, apparently. There we go. So in the last 24 hours, Research Coin has shown positive change across multiple pairs. Their Ethereum pair is up 6%, and the Uniswap ETH pair, this should be a base one, but it's all right. You can see the current price at 24 cents for Research Coin here. Now, this has been something that's actually pretty complicated on the back end. And while I'm not going to get into all of those details for you guys, it is using DEX Screener in order to pull token information for everyone. So if I go ahead and let me move this up a little bit so you guys can't see the session ID number. I don't know that it matters, but I'm just blocking it off. If I were to go ahead over to, let's say, I go to DEX Screener, and let's say that I found a random token in DeSci that I wanted to pay a little bit of attention to and just kind of get an update on some information about this token. And let's say, let's not use Noble for this. Let's use, you know what, why not use Noble? Let's say I had the token contract address, but that was it. And I was like, hey, what is the ticker for this project? What is the ticker for this token? And I just give him the token contract address. He should be able to figure out exactly what it is I'm asking him, and he should be able to give me back that kind of information. Now, this is a lot of the rudimentary frameworks and skill sets that are available. Yep, spot on. This is Noble Blocks. So he has that fundamental use case now so that when people enter into the Discord or the Telegram that he's a part of and they ask him questions like, hey, what is this token or what's the price of this token? He'll be able to give you historical price data on it. So a very simple, very needed use case for his agent framework or his agent tool sets. Does that make sense? Yes. Nobody should be looking at the Noble chart right now. Let's not look at the Noble chart. Let's go look at a much nicer chart. Just kidding. All of the charts look just about the exact same right now in decentralized science, but that's besides the point. So hopefully that one makes sense for you guys, and it's a good addition to his landscape. Another addition that I have for him right now is this email newsletter that he gives me. So this is for me to use in order to know exactly what is happening in the decentralized science landscape. So Bill goes through this entire list of DeSci projects that I've put together here in this Airtable database, and he goes and scrapes their X pages for the last 24 hours of posts, to which he then filters out all information that he thinks is worth paying attention to and hits me with a newsletter. Now, the formatting of the newsletter is pretty garbage right now, and that is because, again, this is the framework of it. It's the functionality is there. So I can then go see that his top 3 updates for the day are this from Molecule, which has to do with the Transfidelity contract being agreed upon and signed. And this is a repost. This is older news from April 4th, but still, it's something he thinks we should be paying attention to. I can go to Cerebrum DAO and see that Cerebrum DAO was recently selected to be an official partner of DAObase.ai. So that is really cool to see. It's information that Bill thinks we should be paying attention to. Again, the third one, top 3 news updates for DeSci right now is Axon's weekly report. Now, this information that he scrapes goes and gets stored in a database of every post that these projects have been making, with a lot of key information like how many likes they got, what follower count the post is at for the day, how many views the post got, right? So you can see this post went kind of viral, got 52,000 views. Could come back over here and see that it's a retweet of Bioprotocol's post. So all of those projects on the list are currently being scraped every single day so that Bill can have an up-to-date log on what is going on in the world of decentralized science. From there is where we can kind of start creating out different tools for Bill to use. This is where we can get creative. Now that the infrastructure is there, we can actually start to build out really fascinating use cases for this information. For example, the newsletter is one of the simplest things that I thought was going to be really advantageous, because then what Bill can do from here is grab this newsletter, go ahead to the X posts that are linked here, grab the content of those posts and put together a daily summary for everyone. Maybe he puts together his posts. Maybe he knows what posts are the most active and he goes ahead and engages with those posts. Over time, as this list of posts start to build out and he understands more and more of potentially what a viral post will look like for some of these projects, he can go ahead and identify potentially viral posts before they start going viral and then engage with them ahead of everyone else and get a head start on the engagement. So hopefully that makes sense for everyone. Again, this is where the excitement comes in. This is where the fun starts to happen, is we can really start getting crazy with these ideations. And yeah, that's been the update. As far as like a more nitty-gritty update on what's been going on with Bill and why I had to go silent for so long, for anyone who is not aware, I've not been completely silent. We go live Monday to Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talk about decentralized science and the broader crypto markets. I've still been going live very consistently. A couple days here and there I don't end up going live, but that's okay, because I said it's okay. Now, a lot of I've still been going live, so I've not completely ghosted, so nobody should be afraid that the construction of Bill is done. In fact, the only thing I've been focused on lately has been the construction of Bill, and that is because the frameworks that we had been using for Agent Bill were not as easily adaptable to new tools. What do I mean by that? For Creator Bid, the initial framework that Bill was built off of, in order for us to get customized tools, we had to go through them. We had to actually go and ask them to help create it, and we had to work with them back and forth and ideate things and really get aggressive when it came to, get aggressive when it came to actually working with them to build out different tools for him. And so that was okay initially, but it wasn't enough for the ideas that we had, right? Remember, we're partnered with Dynex on this. And so when Dynex's quantum large language model is fully built out, we'll be able to put everything onto the Dynex QLLM. Now, that was not something that was going to be easily attainable with Creator Bid. So while we're still using the Creator Bid token and we're still involved with them and we're still using the tools that we did have there, I had to go and create my own frameworks that were customizable so that I could then be in complete control of what was built out when it came to Bill's tool sets. So a DeSci chatbot, you can think about it like a DeSci chatbot, Chris, for sure. That's kind of like the foundational model behind it, right? Where he exists across social media websites like Telegram and Discord and X and potentially YouTube and TikTok and LinkedIn and Facebook and all of these different aggregates of attention, all of these platforms that host people's attention. And he is there to soak up all of the information about decentralized science, to be a go-to resource for people so that when they get into decentralized science, they can ask, hey, what is Quantum Bio's latest DAO proposal? And Bill's like, oh, here it is. Do you want some information? You want a synopsis? You want to see how I would improve it, right? It's kind of as we continue to progress, that's where he goes. As the core foundational model. Now, eventually down the line, when we have all of the quantum infrastructure set up, then we'll get into some of those simulated experiments, and that's where things can get really, really crazy. But for the time being, yeah. 12th of April was alpha, 1 day early. Let's go. Let's go, Sarah. Welcome into the live stream, everyone. How's it going, C90? Ruralis, MK, Solus, Beagle. Let's see. Zach, Chris, Sarah. Yeah, let's go, guys. Let's go. Happy Friday. Yeah. He effectively, what I want you to think of Bill as is the DeSci SHILLERS mascot. He is me if I could be online 24/7. If I could be up to date on every single piece of information that has ever possibly been produced by a DeSci company. That's what he is. And so I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. I really do. Really, really do. Yeah. That's kind of been what the build out, those are the two showcases I wanted to give you guys on him. He got access to token price information so that he can do little summaries and reports. One thing that I want to work on, but it is probably next after I finish putting it all together and launching it through X and everything, and after he's fully implemented, I want to be able to take the X scraped information, so all of these posts, and I want him to create his own chart that overlays each project's main posts with the price performance, right? You've seen those on TradingView before, where if you go to TradingView, you can actually insert a post from X. I believe you can, yeah. I know you can. I don't remember how to do it off the top of my head right now, but I think, yeah, if I go to Axon here, for example, April 11th, and I copy this link and I come here. Yes, there you go. So see how you can you can post tweets on TradingView? Well, one of the things you can do is anchor it. Yeah, there it is. It's anchored. So the day that the post went out, you can actually go zoom into a 1 minute time frame on this, and you can see exactly when Axon posted the tweet. And so an idea that we could use, I don't know how far old that tweet is. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. Bill could actually start doing some analysis like this, where he keeps track of where all of the posts came from and to see if they had any kind of a impact on the price of their project, you know? That is a cool little thing that he could end up doing later. But that's the kind of stuff that I want to start ideating on these live streams with you guys. And then we can start building some of them out live with everyone so that everyone can kind of see the process and see the different tool sets that he's doing, right? And everyone has a say in what they think is the most useful procedures for Bill. So look at that. I mean, according to this model here, they would say that this tweet from Axon caused a little bit of a pump in Bitcoin's price. Pretty crazy. But over time, enough of these posts, enough of that data would actually get to see some big trends. So if you saw, for example, every time that investor goes live, we see Nova Blocks tick up by 2.5% over the span of an hour, then he would be able to put together that procedure to then maybe use his treasury to trade based off that input. Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. The sky is the limit. Our creativity is truly the limit. How's it going with bid Binance listing? That didn't end up coming out. That did not end up happening, which is super unfortunate, but the Binance listing did not end up happening. And most people were actually pretty pissed at Binance after this because they held a vote to see what, I don't know where it is anymore, but they held a vote. Binance held a vote for people to be able to pick what tokens they wanted listed on the platform. And even though creator bid ended up coming in second place on one of the criteria, there were two different voting count models. They came in second place on one and they came in sixth place on another. And the top 5 projects got listed. So if you were to average that out, bid should have been listed. But what Binance ended up only doing was listing some meme coins. And then those meme coins ended up tanking like 60% after the listing, which was crazy. I don't know that these are the meme coins that they listed, but right after those tokens got listed, they absolutely plummeted, which is hysterical. But also super unfortunate, super upsetting actually, because I was really hoping that bid would get that Binance listing, but it didn't. The way they counted the votes was sus. It was very sus, C90. One $5 bill. As soon as the market wakes up. How did you feel about Bill Nye the DeSci driller? What is that? Or how do I feel about it? What is Bill Nye the DeSci driller? Unless you meant Schiller, but yeah, so you guys want to build some tools together. Are you guys interested in it? Yay or nay? First, we start with ideating. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a Google Drive. Or no, I'm not going to open a Google Drive. What I'm going to do is open up a Google Docs. And we shall ideate some skills for Bill here. Okay. Bill community skills requests. Okay, so ideation of skills. Let's go ahead and bold that, bump it up to like, I don't know. We're on live, so let's bump it up to like 30. And then let's bump our normal text up to like 20 so that everyone can see it nice and clearly. It's a new DeSci song for Bill on DeSci Collective channel. Let's go, Solus. Oh yeah, everyone. Solus is the person who came up with those DeSci Schiller anthem, with the DeSci Schiller anthem and the Bill anthem and the Data Lake anthem and the Dynex anthem. All of those songs that I was showing on the live stream last week, Solus is the one who came up with them. So W in the chat for Solus. Gorgeous songs. Love them. Love them. Oh, mods, we need to get C90 out of the chat, please. Everyone knew what I spelt, even if it was spelt wrong, all right? Okay. All right, thank you, though, C90. It's in Arabic to reach the Arab crypto community. If you don't approve of it, I can take it down. Solus, you have free reign to post anything. I approve of all of the posts that you guys come up with. Anything. I don't care what it is. If it's a bad post, it reflects poorly on you. If it's a terrible, crude thing, it reflects poorly on you. I do not care what gets posted. Feel free to have total self-sovereignty over it. I'm sure it is a wonderful song, though, and I won't understand any of the words, though, so there's that. Only work in Excel. Them's the rules. I don't even have Excel, C90. Google Sheets or nothing. Let's drop all bags and focus on Bill. That's the real project of a true DeSci community. Winos, I agree with you. I could not agree more. Everyone dump everything you own into Bill. No, don't do that. It's not financial advice. Don't do that. Someone got to be the nerd around here. I love it. I love it. So here's what I was thinking. Okay, I'll start it off. So we'll start off with an idea, right? I'm going to take the X posts and right now I'm working on a newsletter for myself. So a custom newsletter for DeSci enthusiasts. Okay, right now, in order for me to actually make this better, I need to enhance the filtering of news for only super valuable information like events, updates, proposals, what else would be good to have? Partnerships, right? Stuff along those lines. So right now I have the newsletter down and it works, but I need an enhanced filtering system for the newsletter. Let's go ahead with a second idea here. Another idea I would like for some of you guys to come up with, but I'll go through with my next idea here. So the next thing up is I want to connect, my hairs are looking a little crazy. I would like to connect Bill to X Spaces and YouTube videos to get transcripts. Now, I've been running into a lot of problems with X Spaces because you can't just download an X Space, at least not to my knowledge. So I can't have Bill do it. You need super custom API keys from X, and they are incredibly expensive. So I have to find some workarounds in order to get that to work. And that's the problem I've been having with it right now. But this will allow for Bill to stay up to date on all secrets that are announced in special podcasts or X Spaces that they do. Like, I know Axon loves X Spaces. I know Poseidon DAO loves X Spaces. Basically, most projects produce some kind of content via X Spaces. And so if I were to create the ability for Bill to sit in on those X Spaces or download the transcript after the fact, he could create summaries. What are some ideas that you guys have? Ready to post a lot of FUD now. Damn it, Beagle. Mods! 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 Google Sheets is dog poo. You're dog poo, Zach. What the hell? Why are you dogging on my sheets? Solus is the best musician out there. I agree. I dumped 10K of ADA and got into Noble, Bill, and Dynex about 4 months ago. Whoops. Ugh. That's pain. That is pain. At the peak, too, is pain, C90. I'm sorry. Okay, good. Good suggestion here. So C90 says, don't know if it's possible, but can Bill learn bubble maps or similar to look into DeSci sales, pre-sales for some insight? So bubble maps integration for Bill so he can analyze token distributions for, oh my God, pre-sales and new token research. So here's a good thing. Here's what we do from there, okay? Wonderful idea. I think it's genius, and I want Bill to have access to to on-chain data and metrics like that. So what we do is bubble maps API. So we go to see if bubble maps has open API that we can pull from. And this is how tools are going to work, okay? For all AI agents, maybe we should take a step back, and after I confirm this, oh my God, take up the habit, just bubble it. API and iframes, so we're on it. So you have to join the waitlist, it looks. Nope, that is a token. It appears for bubble maps waitlist. No need to spam. The selection is only time-based, not randomized. Avoid Hotmail and Outlook addresses as we have some complaints about emails not getting delivered to these. Doesn't look like there's any information in that regarding the API keys. So effectively, okay, there we go, Winos. Winos has got a bubble map contact he can share. That's bullish, which means we might be able to get some access to APIs. Yeah, see, our graph data, okay, so I have to send an email requesting access to API. All right, so we could do stuff like that, right? Now, let me take a step back and kind of explain for everyone so that everyone can be on the same page as to what requests are valid and what are going to be a lot more work, or what things are going to be possible, okay? Great minds here. I love it, Sarah. I love it. Now, MK says safety should be first priority. I agree. Everything should be done very safe. So when it comes to AI agents specifically, all right, we have 3 parts, okay? Now, it's really 2 parts, but they get pretty complicated, and I'm just here to give an overview so everyone can be on the same page, right? I'm not trying to proclaim to be an expert, okay? I'm not even gonna sit here and tell you that I'm a dev. All I'm doing is vibe coding and figuring out tools that are useful, right? But essentially what you have is an LLM. An LLM is a large language model. We all know what that is. A large language model is effectively a giant database of small snippets of information. These snippets of information are embedded into a giant vector database, okay? So what does that actually mean? It means that this line of text, right? Let's say I wanted to make an AI agent that knew about let's say I wanted to make an AI agent that was aware of the ideas that we are coming up with it for skills, right? I would take this chunk, okay, that's what it's called, a chunk. I would take this text, and this text can be any form of data, and I would embed it into a giant graph, okay? Now, when we think of graphs, we think of the X and the Y axis, right? So X and Y, this would be a 2-dimensional graph. If we added Z to this graph, okay, we get X, Y, Z, we get a 3-dimensional graph. Now, this 3-dimensional graph, you can put this chunk of data, what we have right here, you can put that chunk of data embedded into a 3-dimensional graph, okay? And then that would, more chunks of data that we put into it would be compared to each other. The data inside each chunk would be compared and embedded in this giant space, this 3-dimensional space, based off similarity. So the best example, the one that everyone uses, is when you're having an AI trained on animals, right? In this 3-dimensional space, you would have a bunch of examples of different animals, a cat and a dog, and they would be pretty close on this graph compared to a giraffe, which would be wicked far away, or like an ant would be still on this graph, but super far away from a cat and a dog. And that way, when the AI pulls from this LLM, it pulls those data points from that embedded space, it is able to compare based off of where in the graph, or it's able to like go and pull from sections of this giant graph, right? Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And then it takes those chunks. So you say, like, what's the difference between a cat and a dog? And it would pull the cat and dog chunks, and the AI would then compare the difference and give you an answer, okay? That's what ChatGPT does. However, ChatGPT is not on a 3-dimensional graph, right? ChatGPT has millions of dimensions, okay? You're thinking multidimensional. I've trained you guys for this. It's millions of dimensions, right? And we can't visualize that, but the AI can, because all a graphing point is like 1, 3 would be a plot on a graph. 1, 3, 5 would be a plot on a 3-dimensional graph. This is 1, 3, 2, 8, 100, 7,000, millions of data points, and it's a 1,000,000-dimension long graph. Now, OpenAI, one of the embedding models that they'll allow everyone to use for pretty low cost is embedding small and embedding large. Embedding small is a 1,500 point graph, and embedding large is nearly 4,000 dimensions. 4,000 dimensions on this graph, right? And so it just allows for you to create embeddings that are super specific and can describe everything that is possibly there to describe when it comes to that, okay? Now, That's an LLM. That's kind of how, roughly speaking, that's how it works. The AI is then there to analyze the chunks that are pulled from the large language model and give you kind of reports. So it's not just regurgitating the chunks back at you. It's actually reading those chunks and putting together a small little report for you guys. Okay. Now, an AI agent will then take those reports, it'll then take that output, and based off of the tools that you give it, it will then go and conduct things online. It'll then go and take action on your behalf. So for example, if we gave Agent Bill a Gmail tool, he could then take, this is exactly what I did. I gave him an X scraping tool. So he scrapes all of the information on all of these projects here from X. He pulls in all of the tweets that they've done. He then analyzes them, embeds them all into a database in LLM. And then from the LLM, he pulls stuff to put together a little report. And then from there, I have him having access to a Gmail tool, send me an email with the report. Okay, that makes sense? So all of these tools that we create for Agent Bill are just little extensions, gives him effectively their API endpoints, right? He has the ability, AI agents have the ability to send HTTP requests and a lot of other things, but that's one of the main like bread and butter things out there is those HTTP requests are the foundation of those tools. That makes sense? And so what I did here was look for the API endpoint and any API keys for bubble maps to then go create a tool that allows for Bill to go and send a request to bubble maps to get the bubble map for Noble Blocks, for BioProtocol, for Bill's token, right? And then he can pull it back in and summarize it or create a report to answer us. How do we build an AI system to trade crypto for us, sir? Zigzag, I have not gotten to that point. I do not know. I do not know how to do that. However, other people have already done it. And so if you go Google search it, I'm sure you would find some trading bots out there, lots of them. If you go to any exchange, they have trading bots. Also, there's AI tools out there that you can just come up with ideas, talk with ChatGPT, right? Flesh out this idea with ChatGPT, have it then give you a synopsis of that idea, a put together report, take that report, have it create a system prompt message, take that system, or not a system prompt message, just a regular prompt, create a prompt, go take that prompt and go put it into some tool like Cursor, right? And then that prompted message will prompt Cursor to then create the code for your own specialized whatever it is that you were ideating, okay? It gets complicated, and honestly, this space is evolving every single day. Someone releases a new thing every single day. I'm not exaggerating. If you go on X, every single day, somebody's releasing a new tool that is making everyone's life a little bit easier, making it more accessible. And so it's really something that I think everyone should be a little bit up to date on. And so that's kind of what we're doing here on this live stream. In order for all of us to now come together and create ideas for tools for Bill, if you guys want, which obviously you guys want, that's why you're all here. We go live Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talk about decentralized science and the broader crypto markets. Today, we're doing a Build Bill session. Build Bill session. I'm fascinated by the whole area of what you're talking about too, homie, so I'll wait to see where you're going first before I leave. I've been using ChatGPT to build Pine scripts for TradingView. I love it, Zigzag. That's really cool. I wouldn't use ChatGPT. Not for that kind of stuff. ChatGPT is not really great for code right now. ChatGPT is really good at conversations, and ChatGPT is really good at being like a therapist and helping with ideation, and system prompts and message prompts and stuff like that. But I would use stuff like Cursor. You're going to pay a little bit more for it, but it is a specialized model that is specific for creating code. So if you're trying to create something like that, I would use something like Cursor. Or you go and use something like Claude. Claude's a really good one for general purpose coding, right? If I need a script written, like a custom code snippet I don't know how to code, okay? I don't know how to code, guys. Shocker. I don't know how to code. Let me say it 3 times so everyone knows that. But Claude does. Claude knows how to code. Claude's pretty good at it. This is from Anthropic. So, and Anthropic puts out resources all the time. LangChain, I'm sure you guys have heard some of these things before. They put out really good resources. But I hop into Casper as well. Okay, cool. Ah, sweet. That investor. IDK anything about AI space. All I know is ChatGPT. You know what you could do? Use ChatGPT to find other AI tools to use. Ask him, say, I really want to build custom scripts for TradingView. Are there any softwares available to the public that can help me with this? And then he'll be like, oh, here's 5 softwares that you can use. And then you go and test them all out. It's crazy what's possible right now. It really blows my mind consistently. Let me go to live chat. I should be on live chat. Tino it is. Vector candles gave it away. It's pronounced Zed. You're friggin' brilliant. Let's go, Zigzag. Let's go. Let's go. This has been my autistic focus for the last 6 months. It's just been this. Ever since Bill launched, this is all I've been focusing in on. All right, so more ideas. Anyone else have cool ideas that they think would be fun to implement? One thing that I kind of want to implement, in addition to all of this, is Bill's ability to host his own X spaces. Now, that's also proving to be really, working with X is incredibly difficult because they charge a shit ton for their API keys and everything's super gated. So that's probably going to take a lot of time to get there, which is why it's on the roadmap, but it's a little bit away, right? I want to be able to, the next thing I think that's realistic that I'm going to be working on for one of his tools is Telegram group chat watching. So Bill, you can think about Bill in this regard as like a spy. I'm going to create the ability for Bill to pull in every message that is sent in a Telegram chat. So I'll put him into Axon's TG group, and he will record every message sent into the chat. Why? So that I can keep an up-to-date tab on what the community is doing. So this will be so that he can sort through for announcements or hidden leaks of information. This can be so that he keeps an eye on what community loves, right? So if I put Bill into every Telegram chat and he scans every single message that gets sent, he's going to be able to identify FUD early, and then maybe that triggers him to go do a full analysis on what the FUD is targeted for, you know? I want you guys thinking. Let's keep thinking. What exactly is Bill? So Bill is a master DeSci influencer. Effectively, he is DeSci SHILLERS mascot. So he's the AI agent that I'm building, and he has his own token on base chain called ticker Bill Nye. And effectively, he is an omnipresent, or this is the vision for him in the interim, an omnipresent AI agent that exists in every DeSci channel across all social media websites. Every piece of information that he can take in about these projects, he's going to take in. And then from there, we can create custom reports for people. He can do deep dive research for people. He'll be able to keep up to date on current activities in the DeSci landscape so that he can tell us where we should be paying attention. You know, it's like, let's say, for example, research coin skyrockets 100% in a single day, right? And leading up to that, we saw Research Hub post about how there's this crazy event happening that Brian Armstrong's going to be talking at, okay? And then shortly after the event, Brian Armstrong makes a tweet that says, I'm super bullish on Research Hub. I'm making this up, but let's just say he does it. I'm super bullish on Research Hub and what the team has been putting together because he's their CEO, right? So next time there is an event where Brian Armstrong's talking, the bill will be able to analyze what it is that event is about and see if there's any projects tied to it. So next time Brian Armstrong goes to talk about Research Hub at an event, he will alert everyone that that's about to happen, and that last time it happened, Research Hub doubled in price. Something like that, right? To become a useful tool. Maybe Poseidon DAO launches a new research initiative, and he gives us a breakdown on the research initiative and what the total addressable market is for that research to see if it's worth putting our money into, worth funding. Maybe Bioprotocol has a new DAO that they're raising money for, and he does a deep dive research into the DAO's founders so that we can get a report on what the founders have been doing. All of these ideas are things that we're getting like extremely close to finalizing. Remember, like a month ago, I showed you guys an entire research report generating tool that I created, right? That's something I want to use. All I have to do is tweak it ever so slightly. All I have to do is tweak it ever so slightly and hand it off to Bill. And then all of a sudden, Bill has the ability to scrape all research databases across the world, across the internet, and pull all data about the next hot neurotropic or whatever it is, nootropic. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff is right there. Make him make video posts with his avatar talking. Again, yeah, that is super, super doable. All right, I'm going to put that one down. I'm also going to delete the one that I just did, both of these, because I know what they are, and this is for you guys to ideate. So we want videos of Bill talking. I think giving weekly summaries, breaking down research reports, I think we do like those would be good. Yeah. Anything else that you think? Then with Dynex QLM, who knows what his potential can be? Sky is the limit. I agree, MK. Completely agree. Because then his reasoning gets better, right? His ability to think things through will get better. And so then next time something happens, he'll be able to connect the dots instantaneously. And then he'll be able to put together reports for us instantaneously. You know, Dynex is going to unlock a lot for that. Dude, make sure to plug him into Pulse Chain Network somehow. I think in the future, once things pan out with Richard Hart's ecosystem, it's going to be a huge part of blockchain systems. You could even make a Bill 9 token on Pulse. P Bill, lol. You should reach out to Ryan Hall, y'all, and ask him how he made his y'all bot. It's exactly what you're trying to accomplish, but with weather rather than stock prices. Yeah, Zigzag. I've gotten in some pretty deep arguments with the Pulse Chain community, so I don't know that they would be willing to really accept me in for anything, but it could be, maybe. It might be worth it. We'll keep it on the back burner potentially for some future iterations. The goal is to have Bill overpower Patrick at the same time. We hope he doesn't try to take over the world. It's amazing how y'all bot reacts to chat and weather updates. Yeah, it's crazy because for that kind of thing, all you need to do is find a way to gain API access into some weather platform, and then hook it up. I could give Bill some weather access by the end of the day. He could be forecasting weather. It's really crazy, right? Because then from there you fine tune an LLM based off of weather prediction patterns, and bam, Bill can predict the weather. And then you know what he does? You know what Bill does? I'm gonna write this one down. Moon chart impact on DeSci. I put all of astrology into Bill. I create a custom LLM based off of astrological phenomena. And I give it to Bill. And Bill uses that to predict what is going to get funding in DeSci. Controversy is key to hurdles being jumped. Acceptance begins with contradiction. I agree, Zigzag. I agree. Friends don't let friends jump into Hex, sir. Yeah. I also agree with that, C90. Sorry, Zigzag. Hex. Pulse Chain was a good idea 4 years ago. And then I think it kind of is getting dramatically outclassed with a lot of the L2s out there. And aside from the small cult of people that are using it, there's not a ton of activity that goes on there. Like all the idea was that if they build something better, the main apps on Ethereum will start using Pulse chain versions instead for their applications. And what ended up happening was none of that. Nobody ended up doing that, which is unfortunate for people who really dedicated themselves to it, but it is what it is. What's the current market cap on Bill? Good question. Really not great though. Bill is currently chilling at $60,000. He was quite substantially higher than this, but he got decimated along with all other AI agents when the market turned. So to get to all-time highs again is only 6,700% gains. He is back down to the initial prices when the token launched. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? Yeah, people sold. People got out of the market. The AI agent narrative looked like it was all over and done with. I think it comes back. And if you also think it comes back, then you want to pick your horses. Pick your horses. You want to make sure that the teams behind them have not given up on what's happening. Bill for sure is not dead. And you're just going to nip that one in the butt before anything happens with that idea. I mean, he was chilling all the way up at 40 cents, which is crazy. Crazy. That's because, so this market cap is circulating market cap. This market cap is FDV. So his FDV is 137K, his circulating 60, because if you go look at the holders, this is his community. So the token model for Bill is that of sort of a Patreon style. So for example, let's say I open up, let's use a real life example. So working on the ability for Bill to be able to do deep research on newly launched tokens, right? So that if a new DeSci token launches, you can give Bill some information about that token and he can print out a full research report on the addressable market they're entering into and the team behind it and the token distribution on chain and all information that I use and all information that you guys use when looking into new projects. And he can just do that work for you and give you a research report on it, right? That is very intensive work for him. And so that is going to be only accessible to people who have endorsed Bill on Creator Bid. So the Diamond member channel on Telegram. Those people will have access to that tool. The rest of the market will not. And so you get access to custom content from Bill. You get access to updates from Bill. You get access to like unique features that Bill has by locking up some of your token in his Creator Bid ecosystem pool. And right now we have 43% of the total supply locked up in that pool, which is really cool actually, because even in this giant crash, the community is still strong. 9 million of the 21 million tokens have been locked. And so because of that, Dex Screener shows a circulating market cap and the FDV market cap, but it was fair launched, so all the tokens are in circulation. I'll give you guys this webpage so you can go check them out if you want to. All tokens are in circulation form already. It's just people bought them up and locked them. Volume is really low. Yeah, which is crazy. But we got $687 worth of volume here today. It's going to be a nice run up. Again, Bill to $100. Bill to, I'm the person who created it, so I can't give you guys price targets on it, but thanks for the explanation. Of course, Sarah. Of course. The pain. Make him do his price predictions, but make him only predict forever going up. Beagle. That's what I do. That's what I do. So if we really did want to make him a complete copycat of me, give him all the same skill sets, that's what we would do. Yeah, you're right. Lock tokens, exactly. Yeah. All right, do we want to try and build anything? We got about 10 minutes left in the live stream if we wanted to whip something together real quick, or we can just keep this one as kind of the initial launch of this live stream, because what's going to happen moving forward from here, every Friday we're going to come together and we're going to build out custom features for Bill live on stream together so everyone can see it. I'll give weekly updates on what has been built and what is the plan for the next week, kind of like dev reports from me, so that everyone can be up to date on what's going on, so that there is no question the advancements that are happening. So do we have anyone who wants to take on this challenge? You know what we could do? I do have to close out of this. No, it's okay. We could work on the first one here. We could try and enhance the filtering of news for only super valuable information like events, updates, proposals, partnerships. Not at all good with this stuff, Sarah. That's why we're here. We're all going to get good at it together. We're all going to get good at it together. Make him send his treasury to my CA. Okay, Beagle. All right. Okay. Do you guys want to see the newsletter agent tool? Or no, because I need to keep some proprietary information. I don't want any copycats trying to jump in and steal the ideas. But a newsletter is super simple, super simplistic. Right now, drinking water, just for an FYI, not sponsored, although it should be. Tap water, except filtered tap water, so that I don't get any of these weird diseases from the ocean. What did that even mean? Diseases from the ocean. Or, of course, we can just go look at the market. You want to go spend some time looking at the markets? Go look at the hourly chart. We're at a pretty... Yeah, let's do that. I think this is a good live stream, and I hope that everyone appreciated the transparency and the collaboration. It's going to be good. We're going to get a lot of good information out of these live streams. Right now, Bitcoin really needs to break out above this resistance line that we've been getting rejected by for the last several months. So since we peaked out back here in January, so for the entirety of 2025, effectively, we've been getting rejected lower and lower. Now, hopefully, we can start getting some rebounds off of this peak area of contention, and then we can start scooping up higher. We can start pushing up higher, right? So this yellow line here, I'm going to make it a little bit thicker because this is the top from the last peak last year. In 2024, this is where we topped out at. So this push, this bounce, I think it needs to happen above here. We need to hold this as support and then continue higher. Yeah. If we follow liquidity, you guys know because we went over it yesterday on the live stream, but by July, we should be pushing all-time highs again if we follow the total global liquidity. Well done. Bullish. Let's go, guys. Let's go. So Bitcoin, if we follow global liquidity, this was the double bottom that we were waiting for, and then Bitcoin's going to start pushing higher, and then by July be in the $110,000 area, right? So hopefully that's what actually ends up playing out here. But first, we need to just get above this channel. We need to break out and push up to like 88,000 and then come back down for a retest and then continue higher. right? I would love to see us above the dotted line here again. That would be super ideal. If we go to a weekly time frame, you can kind of see what I mean a little bit better. So on a weekly time frame, Bitcoin has been holding this dotted line here since September 23. Since September of 2023, it's been holding above this dotted line. And so on the weekly time frame, we had one weekly close below the dotted line, and we're trying really hard for Bitcoin to get another close back above that dotted line. And in my opinion, if we can get this weekly close to happen above, let's say 86,000, that would be a quick snap down to liquidate everyone and then push back up to continue this trend. That would be the ideal scenario. So by Saturday night, I believe that's when the markets reset, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard on Saturday. If we can get Bitcoin above 86,000, I think we'll have not invalidated this support line. And then we can start to climb and push higher, right? So that's what I would be paying attention to for Bitcoin specifically. But yeah, I hope you guys are ready for this next blow off top rally. My expectation, and I think a lot of people are starting to adopt this, and this has been my expectation since Bitcoin was down at 15,000 at the depths of last bear market. Actually, I started saying this here. I just didn't have a price prediction yet, but my expectation was roughly a 10x from wherever we bottomed. That's what I started saying here. So when we were at 20,000, I was saying wherever we bottom, if this is the bottom, we'll see Bitcoin at 200,000. And it ended up going down to 15,000, which means I think Bitcoin will see a peak this cycle of 150,000. That's my expectation. And if we get this next blow off top rally, then I believe it will end up coming true. Either way, the end of this, I think we're done. Bullish on Professor Patrick. Hell yeah, boy. Hell yeah. Your time is your most valuable asset. Hopefully this was worth investing it into. I appreciate you guys being here. And please, the 8 of you who are still watching, spread the word. Tell everyone that you know, especially in the crypto DeSci communities, that these live streams on Fridays are starting to happen. Let's get some people in here so that everyone can be up to date on Bill. You got to work for your bags. You got to work for your bags. All right, guys. Peace out. Enjoy your weekend. And don't forget to do some exercises. I forgot it's fitness.